G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to be looking at my bash script again. It's evolved, I've made a new one, I've made my own bash script following TRG on his videos for bash scripting. So TRG has making a simple update script in bash, this one here, and also how to make a menu driven bash script. So I followed, I think it was this video here I followed to get down to the basics of the menu, how it works. Although I already sort of knew how it worked because eznix, if we have a look at eznix's script here, this is where it all started from, was from eznix script, and TRG made a video about that and just put it in my mind about how to have it in sort of more logical order. Although eznix's script is the one that sort of gave me a lot of ideas on how to do this. So I was updating his script and I thought I'll start from scratch so I can get to know how this sort of works a little bit. So I wanted to know how that worked and get familiar with it so I understand it a bit more. So this is where I'm up to. This is what I've done. So what I've done is I've made a menu and I've put the menu up the top. I started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got up to 9, but then there started to be more than 9, so that wasn't ideal to use. I've decided to make these in alphabetical order and use X for exit, which is what eznix did, and that makes perfect sense. So X alone is just for exit only. You probably could use an E, but then you're not in sort of order here. So at least X is way down the chain of in the alphabet order, and it would take a pretty long menu to get to X, so that makes more sense. So what I'm doing here is I've sort of evolved this a lot more than what I thought I would have. I've decided to, instead of using gnome dis auto mount, I've decided to put this command, as long as it stays the same, which it should, then what I'm going to do is pipe this command, which is this one here, all of that, and you'll see it's within the single quotes, and then those two arrows are to Etsy and into the FS tab. So then I don't have to muck around installing gnome dis and whatever. I can just run that command, and then I've got an echo, which eznix had in some of his, and it says please exit the menu and reboot before you continue. So it's best to do that, and that way once you reboot, your data drive as auto mounted, and then all of these other commands here, change owner and remove home folder, create link, that will all happen in logical order. So you change the owner of the data drive before you can actually do anything with the data drive, and then once you change owner, you can remove the home folders and you can create the links from the data drive back to the home folders, which is what I've done here. So all happens in order. So what I've done is I've gone the extra mile, because we were talking on Biddle last Sunday and people were saying, why don't you put it up on GitHub? I'm not sure if I want to do that. What I've done is I've created a GitHub account, and having done this, I'm starting to understand how people like Eric Dubois and Ferran OS, they run scripts. Eric runs scripts to install EzeeLinux, and I've used that a few times. And also Ferran uses scripts, I think, to download themes and icons and that. I'm not sure if he's still doing that, but yeah, this is what I've done. I've put my favorite icons and themes in here on GitHub. What I first did was I actually put them into Google Drive. So Google Drive was, I was using wget. I can still use that because it works, but I had to do a lot of searching around on how to get this command here to download the document. So this is the command here. I think it's wget no check certificate blah blah blah. It's in the single quotes, and then I think I had to put this link here in here. So I think it does all this up to download ID. Then you put the link for that in here, and then the name of with the -O, I think it is, and the name of the icon theme. That was getting a little bit complex. It was annoying trying to work that out. It took me a couple of hours to find something that worked. But the icons and the themes were working from Google Chrome. But what I did was I put them up on GitHub, and in the menu I've got download icons from GitHub and download themes from GitHub. So if we look at that, this one here, icons, it copies the icons and the themes from the data drive if I'm using my main system. But if I'm testing something out on a different PC or laptop or netbook or whatever they're called these days, or in a VirtualBox as well, that's a possibility, then I can use GitHub to download those icons and themes. Now I've used the Papyrus icons and also the Dharma icon theme, which is quite nice. I like that one. I don't always use it. I'm a favorite of Papyrus, is quite nice. So that's all downloading from GitHub, those are. So what I've done here is I've got it to copy the icons from the data drive and copy the themes from the data drive as well, because that will never change. So that one there suits my system with that UUID. Now this one here, I can place UUID in here for a VirtualBox, hard drive, or another PC, separate partition or whatever it is. And if I decide to make a separate data drive, then I just place it in here, just copy it all in here, and then that will follow that along. And copying those UUIDs is still probably quicker than doing all of this manually for sure. The only thing I haven't done is I do in here, if we have a look at home and show hidden files, I have a link for Thunderbird and Firefox back to my data drive, and in the .config I also have a link for Google Chrome, so that's back to the data drive as well. I haven't added those ones yet, but that's something I'm definitely going to do. So getting back to this, what I've also done is that's the command to change the permissions there. What I've also done is remove the home folder. So in here, sudo apt install trash-cli. Now this command here is a bit of a fail-safe, because some people like me do silly things. Like I might, let's just say I go, I don't like to put things in home folders. I like to put things in the home, in like documents or downloads or something like that. So I was testing this out. I put it in documents, and then I run through everything, and what happens? The actual script that I'm running from, I've actually removed. I can't get it back. So I had to copy it back from my main system. That was in VirtualBox. So this is why you test in VirtualBox for these reasons. I do some silly things sometimes, and I'm sure we all do. So what I've done is trash. So this will install trash-cli, and then it'll trash these, and it'll put it in the rubbish bin or the trash or whatever it's called on your system. And that way, if you happen to have had something in those home folders, some documents or files or whatever, you can easily restore those. That way it's not completely removed from the system. So I've done that. Now, another thing comes to mind talking about this. If we go back to the Real Geek's videos, he was talking about the if and else statement. Now, it's quite a thought-provoking video, and I've been thinking about how you could use that. Now, I'd have to go back through his video to sort of once again try and understand how that if and else statement works. I think if you look at that, I could see that this script here could be used on all four bases. Like I think in OpenSUSE it's Nathan's always going on about, or Nate on Biddle is always going about zipper dupe or dup, whatever it is. So you got OpenSUSE, you got DNF in Fedora, you've got a command in Arch, and also all the Ubuntu bases sudo apt. So I could see that you could put like, if that doesn't work, then do sudo pacman -S install trash-CLI. And if that doesn't work, or else, or whatever, and you could have if statements or else statements or whatever for all different bases to install this. So how many install commands have I got on here? I'm sure I had another one. No, it seems as though that's the only install command I've got. So that's important to make sure that it puts that in and runs this command here, because you don't really want to remove your home folders, because that could be, like I said, it's a fail-safe thing that I think that people might forget that they've got stuff in their home folders. I definitely have, and definitely that could be a problem. So you want to make sure you put in some fail-safes along the way. Now, the other thing I did was I had a lot of these here as home colon, and I decided to use the tilde sign, which represents home in Linux. So then it becomes more of a generic bash script rather than specific to my system. You'd have to change your username for changing the owner. So whatever your username is, if it's Fred, semicolon Fred, TRG, semicolon TRG, or anything like that, and you know that, and then that becomes specific to yours, and you'd have to change the UUIDs. Now, who would use this? Probably somebody who does what I do. You distro hop, but you've got a separate data drive, and it's always going to be the same UUID. You could change this. You wouldn't want to be changing it all the time for different systems. I probably will. That's why I've got this one here. If you have a look at this here, create links for other PCs or VirtualBox, that's E. Link PC or VBox. So if we go down here, instead of me changing that UUID all the time that's specific to me, I can just place the UUIDs here for running other systems like another PC or a VirtualBox. Just put the UUID in there and it's done. And then I can run that command instead of the data drive one. So that's how that works. And also what I've done here was with the icons and the themes is I change directory into home icons. Then I make sure I download everything within the icons. So git clone and get the icons. That'll be the icons from my GitHub account. Then I change directory because from the GitHub account, it makes an actual folder called icons. So I have to change directory again after this download, change directories into home.icons/icons. And then for this one, it's an unzip, and this one, it's a untar, or it's a tar file. So there are two different commands there for each separate archive. And then I move them, once they're extracted, I move them back into the .icons. Move that one. And the Papyrus icons has quite a few different ones, and they're all moved into the .icons as well. And then clear, and then back to the menu. And the same with the themes. So that's what I've done now. I never thought I would see myself working on a bash script, but I can see this is going to be a big time saver for me if I do happen to distro hop on my main system. I don't do it that often. Yeah, I just get the need for sometimes changing it up a bit. And once I run a system long term, I can get to get a feel of how that system is. And over time, I can get to work out what is the best distro for me. That's what I'm trying to do. You run something for a long time, you get to know the little niggles. Are you willing to put up with them? Or maybe distro hop and try something else and see if something's a little bit better. And over time, after running things for like 3 months and a few things for 8 months at a time, you get to know what you really like. And so far, the best one I think I enjoyed using was Debian Sid. I enjoyed using that, except I blew it up. So what we're going to do is I've tested all this out on Ubuntu. And on my Ubuntu, I've got this bash script updated with, not with the VBox one here, but I've updated all these scripts specific to Ubuntu and the Ubuntu second hard drive with the UUID for that. And that's where I've been testing it out. So what I want to do now is I want to actually reinstall Ubuntu and try all this out and show you, if I can, how it all works. I haven't done the Firefox and the Google Chrome yet. They will be just a simple remove folder and link. So I'll have to do that as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. There would have to be their own identity in here. So I'd have to have probably another 3 menus, I think. J, K, and L. It will be remove. I could probably do Firefox and Thunderbird in one hit because they're both in .icons. I could probably do all 3 in one hit. But then again, maybe you just want to do the Firefox and not the Thunderbird, and the Thunderbird, not the Firefox, or just the Google Chrome. So it's best if they're possibly individual. I'm not sure about that. Got to give that some thought. So we're going to be running Ubuntu. So this is Ubuntu here. We'll log in. And I'll just quickly show you my bash script in Ubuntu. I'm running the Damus icons here at the moment. I like the fact that the link is more concealed than most icons. I like that. You can hardly see the link, and I do like that. Although, I don't know why the little icons for the documents and that are not showing up. They were with that command, because there's a command for that in the script, removing the home folder. And xd-user-ders-update-force. That's supposed to put those home what am I doing? That's full screen, that, so I don't confuse myself. That's supposed to do show home folders, Control H. In the .config, I think it is. This one here. See, now for some reason they keep disappearing. I've already then again, maybe I've been doing some testing and I haven't run that again. I'm not sure. But it should update this and put music in here like that. Downloads is done. Is downloads got a icon? No, it doesn't, but it's in there. So I don't know why it's not showing with an icon. Maybe I need to run that command again. I'm not sure. That one's, I don't know why it does that. Every now and then it seems to do that. I don't know why. Sometimes you have to come in here and do it manually. Maybe my command's wrong. I don't know. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to shut down, and that's in my data drive, by the way, the 64 gig. Possibly I might not be able to access that because it won't be auto-mounted, but I can mount it, and that doesn't matter. And then I can set the auto-mount, reboot, or whatever. So then I can mount it, take it out of here, and then put it in the home folder, and then use it from there, and then run all the commands. The first one will be the auto mounts, and then we can reboot and start from there. So let's see if that works. We're going to try this out. So let's shut down Ubuntu. I've also done a couple of videos on Ubuntu, and this way we can have a look at the install as well. So that'll be handy. So I'm just going to put the Ubuntu ISO back into the storage here. It's empty at the moment, so we'll do that. Ubuntu 2104, okay. Now when we boot that, I have to hit the right control key and the escape key to get the boot menu. Otherwise we won't be able to, it's actually booted up, so that's all right. Ubuntu. Sometimes you've got to hit the right control key and the escape key, sometimes you don't have to. May depend on the ISO, I think. All right, so it took me 3 goes to get Ubuntu up and running. I don't know what was going on there. Bizarre. I guarantee if I wasn't recording, it wouldn't be a problem. That's only when you record. So that's install Ubuntu. Let's do that. Normal installation, download updates, install third-party graphics and media formats and all that good stuff. Let's continue that. Make sure I install it on the right partition. Okay, we're going to go something else because we don't want to do any of that. I want to reinstall, but I don't want to reinstall on the whole disk. And I don't want to erase and reinstall. Any reinstalls will just install the whole disk. So we need to do something else to have a bit more control over that install. So let's check that out. Okay, so SDB is my data drive, so we'll leave that alone. So we're going to be using EFI, that one there, EFI system partition, and this is where Ubuntu is installed. So we're going to set that as ext4, format the partition, and it's going to be root. All Linux distros are installed at root, mostly, from my knowledge anyway. And then we're going to use SDA2 as the bootloader. So SDA2, because that's the EFI partition there. Don't know if we can, we probably cannot format that, can we? No, we can't. That's fine. The bootloader is already there. It's still using the same Ubuntu install, so that shouldn't be a problem anyway. So SDA2 and install now. Changes will be written to the disk. Yes, let's continue that. Perth, yep. My name. Let's see, that's Ubuntu VBox for this one. Leave my name as Colin, because don't forget, changing owner is that username. So if I was to say, oh, let's just use PC TLC this time, that ain't gonna work. So I've got to make sure that username is the same, to be honest. And let's continue. So we'll let that run and we'll come back into the freshly installed desktop. Okay, so that's Ubuntu installed. Probably no longer than 5 minutes to install that, so that's pretty good. So we'll restart now and we'll come back into the freshly installed desktop as long as it boots. Splash screen, good sign. Okay, so let's log into that. So now we have a fresh install of Ubuntu. So this is exciting. I'm going to see if this bash script of mine actually works from scratch. So what we're going to do is we need to, mount that one there, and it still have the same UUID. Yes, it does. So that's good. That's what we want. So let's go to Documents and let's open Terminal here and run Col's admin. That's a good sign. It's working. So the first thing we want to do is press A and auto mount the data drive. Now what I'm going to do is let's open a terminal here. Nano Etsy FS tab. Now I'm going to drop this down a bit and we're going to see hopefully the text come into this file, which is what the plan is. So let's choose A and run that, and password. So it's not there at the moment, so maybe we need to exit that and then open it back up, and there you see it's there. So that has worked. So now that's added, so I don't need to install GNOME dis and auto mount and things like that. That's done already. So that's one application I don't need to install. Although GNOME dis can be handy to have on the system. I don't know if it's in here by default. I'm not sure. No, it's not. Okay, so that's done, and you could see that it said please reboot before continuing. So let's exit that. That's done. We'll exit that menu and then we'll exit out of there, and then we shall reboot the system. Let's do that. This thing just reboots so quick, and let's have a look, and that should be already mounted, I believe. Let's go to File System, Mount, and there it is. Is it mounted? I can already create a folder on that. That's interesting. Cancel that. All right, so I don't need to change permissions. Maybe it's somehow remembered the permissions. Because it's the same UUID, isn't it? But let's run that anyway. So what we would do is from there, I'll copy that to the home folder, paste that, and we'll run it from there. Let's open terminal here and /Col's admin. So we'll run B, change the permissions, password, no errors, so that should have been done anyway. So what we want to do is we want to remove the home folders. So we're in home, so we're going to run C, remove the home folders. So let's do that. And now you can see the home folders have gone. Let's go to the trash, and your home folders are in trash. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. And let's just say somebody said, oh, I left all my pictures in here. Just restore it and then get your pictures back. It's best if you do that before you link it, but if you do run the links, it's not a problem. The links will be here. Just delete the link. It's just a link. It's not an actual folder. So if you delete the link, you can run that command again. You can run the create links command again, and it'll create that link again. It's just a link. It's just sending you back to that folder. So it's not a problem. So what we want to do now is we want to create links from data drive to home. So we're going to run D. So what we're going to do here, let's open another one here. This is the data drive. So we're going to link all these, because normally I would go create link, and then you got to find wherever create link is. It's probably somewhere in the preferences or something like that. Was it actually in the right menu or not? Can't move to rubbish. There's no create link there. So we're going to create a link from these into here. So that's the plan. So D, we're going to run D, create links. And there you go, it's already done. So when I open this documents, it's going to be looking into this one here. And that's just the link. And it's got the little icons in there as well, so it's done that. I'd be interested to know if that's still there on a reboot. But I did mess around with the last one quite a fair bit, so maybe that's the reason why. This is just happening straight out, no problems this time. So copy and install icons from data drive, copy and install themes from data drive. So we're not doing it from data drive, we're actually doing it from GitHub. So what we're going to be doing there is if we go Control H, you'll see that there's no dot icons there. So if we make this a little bit bigger, make this one a little bit bigger. What was that? How do we do that again? Control right, no, Shift right. I can't remember which one, isn't it? Alt and right click, that's right. Alt and right click, that's it. So we're going to be making some dot icons here. So let's just check that out. So what it's going to do is it's going to, let's just check out the bash script for a sec. Let's open another one of these and go to our bash script, Cole's admin. That's a bit bright. View, edit preferences. In this, what are we using here? About mousepad. So in mousepad, you can go down to here and choose a few of these. Ubuntu Dark, Tango, Solarized, Solarized Dark, Oblivion, Kate, Cobalt, Classic. I like this Ubuntu Dark's not too bad, so let's do that. So what this command is going to do is it's going to apt install git, so we can pull it from the git account. It's going to make a directory .icons. It's going to change the directory into .icons. It's going to git clone that, and then it's going to change the directory into the git folder icons under .icons. Unzip them all and so forth. So I'm going to see if we can sort of follow that, and we'll need to pick up the dot icons as soon as it comes in, and we'll go into there and watch it happen. So let's just see how this works, because I'm interested to see how this works. See if I got it all correct. So that's download the icons, H, and it's going to install git and so forth. Yes, let's do that. And there should be a dot icons come up at some point. There it is. So dot icons, there's the icons folder. So it's going to go into this icons folder here. Yep, there's your dot icons there. And then it's going to extract all those and then put them back into dot icons, and there we go. Done. That's how easy it is to host your own favorite icons and pull them down when you're not on your normal system and you're on a VirtualBox or another PC. Very handy. So it'll do the same thing for the themes. So let's run the themes command and see how we go with that. And we'll see a dot themes come up. There's the dot themes, there's the themes folder, and it's extracted them. That one was a bit quicker because we didn't have to install git because that was already done. And if we have a look at the dot themes, yep, there they all are there. So what it did was it went into this is the themes folder that it downloaded from GitHub, and then it extracted these, which was these two folders here, and then the command says move these two folders from here back into .themes, otherwise they're not going to work. And the same with the icons. So that's how I've got that set up. If we have a look at the script, hopefully that all makes sense. And you know, I remember I watched a Dasgeek who's with the Destination Linux crew. Spoken to him quite a few times. I remember he made a GitHub account back quite a long time ago, and he also made a script. And when I seen him, and he made a video about it just like I am, and I thought, nah, I want nothing to do with that. But it's not until TRG made that, well, watching eznix for starters and how he done his install scripts was interesting. That was very thought-provoking. And then TRG made the videos and just made it very understandable how a basic bin bash, a basic bin bash script can work, and just running basic commands. So there's nothing really hard about it. You just need to know all these little languages here, I suppose. And I still really don't know what they mean, but I know how to sort of use them. This one here is just, this one's telling this one to tell this one to run this. And this is all the little things you got to open. You got to have this open curly bracket there, and then the close curly bracket at the bottom. And this one here, you'll see I got this command looking at Eznix's script because he had sleep on there, which means it leaves this up for 5 seconds so people can make sure they read it, and then it clears it off. So yeah, that's how that all works. So if we go down to the themes and icons from GitHub, that's exactly what we did. We installed Git. And that does the same thing with themes. Any of these will install Git to make sure that that's in there, just in case somebody runs those commands themes only or icons only. They've still got to make sure Git's installed. And probably what I should have up here is, I have got up the top here, always open this file in the home directory and auto mount data drive before changing permissions. And probably what I should also have up there is, currently, this is also only for Ubuntu-based distros. I probably should put that. So yeah, if we read that a little bit here, if we have a look at this. So I installed Git, we was in the home folder, and then it says make directory.icons, which is what it did. Then I want to change directory into icons. So what it's doing is it's moving into this directory. And then git clone, and then it downloads this folder here with these two here, which has all of these, this one, and this one, are inside these archived files here. Then it runs the command tar unzip command for tar and unzip command for a zip file, and then it unzips these ones here inside of here, and then it says move those ones here, papyrus back into .icons. So it's moved them from here into here. So it's moved all these from in here back into .icons. So that's how the command runs. It clears off the terminal and then goes back to the menu back here. So it looks for this next command and then goes back to the main menu here. So I'm actually pretty stoked about that works, because because it took me quite a while to sort of get my head around all that and how all that works. And as I went through it, it all started making sense. So let's just try this out. Let's just go to the Ubuntu appearance, and we have the Quagga Dark, which I like for the headings here. I like this theme. And go to the icons, and we can use Papyrus. Now, I don't think they had Papyrus in here. I'm pretty sure they didn't. We got these little things here. You got to run, update it and all that. Should still work anyway. Let's just try it out. And it does. Close that. Probably need to update those anyway. So now it's running the Papyrus. And there we go. And there's your links there. If we try the other icons, appearance, icons, Dharmas, and there's those icons there. Now I might do a reboot and see if it's still got these pictorial things inside the folders. I'm interested to see if that's still working, because sometimes it's not. So we'll just do a quick reboot and check that out. And yes, they're still working, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's probably because I was messing around with it a little bit and testing things out. That in itself, I would still be setting all that up, and that's just taken hardly any time at all to set all that up. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm pretty happy. So I'm happy that we've got people in the Linux community like TRG, the Real Geek, and eznix, and there's others, but those two recently have been my go-to watchers to learn this stuff. And I have to admit, the Real Geek, he's really put it in my mind on how these things are supposed to work. So I'm happy he did that, and I'm happy I watched his videos and learnt a little bit about bash scripting. It's going to save a lot of my time. So anyway, that was a bit of a bonus install for Ubuntu there, which I haven't done because I don't really do installs as much because they don't change too much, the installers. I know Ubuntu's installer may be changing in the future, but that just give you a bit of an insight on how to install a Ubuntu anyway. And I hope you found my bash script interesting because I've had a lot of fun actually making it, even though finding some commands for Google Drive and all that did my head in a little bit. Eventually found them. You just got to troll around the internet for some people's comments. There's some knowledgeable people out there. It's just a matter of just finding those little gold nuggets on the internet, in forums, and finding that one person that says, hey, why don't you try this? And those little comments within the forums can be absolutely gold to getting things like this completed. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires some people out there to make their life easier as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it interesting and informative. And thanks for watching.